Energy into both titans at once, putting him under incredible strain. His personal shield suddenly winks out. The Master Artificer is now vulnerable. Fools!
So be it. Let's see if you're faster than feet. Too bad I can't corrupt you as I did the archives. Very well. I will deal with you myself. You pick up the codex page the devils were using to transform the archons into...
Hi everyone, Aldbar here, and welcome to my live stream. Here you can ask your DDO questions, ask for DDO demonstrations, and ask for DDO advice. So please be my guest on my show, Ask Aldbar DDO Live. Enjoy! So, recently I've been gearing up, planning to make a new player guide for DDO. Now that Cormier, the 64-bit server, has been opened, and it's open to everyone, free to play also. So, should be a new wave of players trying out DDO, and I would like to make the ultimate new player guide. And to do that, well, first I need to work on my, the actual guide, the content for it. And part of that is testing it out live and getting you guys feedback. So, I very much appreciate everyone's feedback. Don't be shy. There's no question who's too new or too silly or whatever. You can feel free. Anything that needs explanation, or if I get something wrong and you feel like it needs to be elaborated on or fixed or whatever, I'm here to try to improve it. And hopefully eventually I'll make a video. But for now, I am going to go through a list of different things I would like to talk about and explain, and hopefully you'll benefit from it. And yeah, so that's what we're heading to do. So the overall goal for today is I've got a few things I want to explain, and one of the main things I'm planning to do is something to do called a epic reincarnation and a heroic reincarnation. Yeah, so last time I was farming out something called Tokens of the 12 so I could buy this thing, Heroic True Heart of Wood, and they also have a Epic Heart of Wood. So I'm going to explain what this does, and while we go through the process of doing this, there is some other things that I need to wait a little bit when I do this, so I'll have extra time to explain things, and yeah, hopefully we can get through a whole bunch of little topics. And so first things first is I just want to answer a quick question is, well, what is DDO? I mean, I say it all the time, and if you want to get good in this game, so probably a thing you should focus on is something called terminology. It's like if I'm trying to learn how to do editing videos, if I want to do something, I want the thing to fade out and fade in. If I say how to make something fade out and fade in, if the terminology is dissolve, and I'm looking for a fade, I might not find a tutorial for it. So at first, like, how do you call this and this? Once I find it, then I can make how to do this and this in Adobe Premiere Pro, and then I'll find a tutorial on it. So there's tons and tons and tons of different things, different abilities, powers, and capabilities you can do in this game, and knowing the terminology is important. So I want to start off with like the basics. So what is DDO in the first place? So DDO stands for Dungeons and Dragons Online. There is a game called Dungeons and Dragons, and this is an online version based off of that game. It's not one-to-one the same thing. It was adjusted for online play, but yeah, that's what it's based off. Also typically referred to if you have many, many players all in the same place, playing in one game, and you're all playing online. So that would be referred to as an MMO, or massive multiplayer online, which this game is also a massive multiplayer online. So DDO is the MMO. And the type of game this game is where effectively you decide how and what you want to play in this game. The game gives you a huge amount of options, and you're going to pick whatever you want to play in the game. And you basically create your own role. So this is a role-playing game who's basically referred to as an RPG. So DDO is an MMO RPG. So that's the basics of what we're going. Well, so we got that out of the way, so I'm going to start up my first epic reincarnation, and I'll explain it. So basically the way this game has its longevity is you get to play yourself a character, play whatever character you want, and once you build yourself up and you get to maximum level, you can either decide to keep on like optimizing whatever you've got over there, or you can go for a second round. That means you can give up some of your power, okay, and effectively start over at a different point and build yourself back up. You will retain a permanent increase in power to your character, and you can do this multiple times. There will be like a special feat that will be added to you based on what kind of reincarnation you do, and this can stack up to 3 times each feat. So players who want to play this game, who've been playing this for, well, 19 years, you can keep on like building up power to your character and push yourself farther and farther. So it doesn't really run out, and you don't have only one play style, because after all, this is a role-playing game. So this character I've been playing right now is a character that can do it all. It has the ability, I showed this off last time, access to a whole bunch of other things, and, well, access to a whole bunch of different abilities and capabilities. And right now on this server where I'm playing primarily with Axel from Axel's DDO channel, I'm doing raids. They need somebody who can do what's called DPS, damage per second. Basically, they need somebody to come in and kill monsters as fast as possible. Somebody who can kill the big boss as fast as possible. So I'm going to transform this character into somebody who can do a lot of damage very fast. And that's his pure focus. Okay? So right now, I'm going to undergo something called a reincarnation. The reincarnation and its name, reincarnation plus name, the name is telling you what kind of ability you're going to gain. Okay? So epic reincarnations, what I'm going to start with, is going to give me an epic ability. So epic reincarnation, I'm going to pick it. To do this, you have to pay. Over here, you have to put in something called the Heart of Wood. So first we're going to do this, Epic Heart of Wood. I am right now, it's going to drop my levels from level 30 down to 20. I'm going to spend those levels effectively. I'll have to grow myself back up from 20 to 30, but I'll get a permanent past life feat. So I'll put my Heart of Wood in. Epic Heart of Wood. Choose a past life feat. Okay. I can pick one of these. Okay. I'm going to pick one who's most fitting to my playstyle. Okay. I really like the passive fast healing. It's not the best one by any mean, but this is my playstyle, so I'm kind of not focused that much on the game, so I constantly need something to heal me up or I'll die. I don't like being too focused on not dying. So for me, this is a very convenient ability. For example, if I'll take this ability will add to better attacks and tactics. There's things will add for skills. This will add to my attack, make it so I damage more. So there's a whole bunch of other things I could take. I'm just taking which one is best for my particular playstyle. So yes, I'm going to take this. I just want you to make sure that you understand that this is not like a recommendation you should always do something. I'm explaining that this is exactly what makes this game, well, a role-playing game. I'm going to play my character the way that's convenient for me. And that's the option. So that's what I'm taking. The game makes you make sure you're not going to accidentally just hit confirm by mistake. So they force you to type your name in. So. Once I've done this, I need to recall out. So let's do that. Basically, now the game is going to prepare my character for reincarnation. It's going to eat up those 10 levels once I click on reincarnate and give me that permanent feat. Now, the way the game does it is actually it's going to set me back to level 1 and give me enough experience or experience points, what we refer to as XP, to allow me to just level back up to level 20 right away. So they'll stick me in a room and they'll say, okay, level back to level 20, and then we'll get you out of the room and you'll have that permanent feat. Now, in the background, the game right now is like rebuilding a whole bunch of things. It's removing my items from my character and putting them in my inventory and basically preparing my character for this transformation. And it's not a good idea to rush it. The more past lives you have, the more time this transformation takes. And you can, if you have like 30 past lives, if you just recall out or recall in, the game's like, wait, I'm not ready yet. Wait. So we'll give it a few seconds. So yeah. Before I step back in, so we already talked about what is DDO, what is an MMORPG, and I've got a whole bunch of other things I want to talk about. But at first, anybody got any questions? Welcome to everybody who's joined the show right now. But if you got any questions about basics, we're soon going to get into, I'll start explaining all the capabilities and abilities and feats and whatever it is. But if you don't have any questions, I'm going to move on to the next topic. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the next little thing. Briefly, we're playing video games, right? The question is why? And this is a very important question because if you know the answer to why, you'll have a much better time at playing this game because you'll tailor fit it to why you're playing it. If you don't know what makes video games for you, I mean, why you're doing it in the first place, there's a very good chance that you're just randomly guessing what are you going to play. So knowing why is important. And yeah, I'm going to explain why. So briefly, let's just say that when a whole group of players were asked, why do we play video games? Everybody had different reasons, okay? And we can break it down into two different groups who again will be broken down into two different groups. Basically, there's four main categories, okay? And these four main categories are effectively, they give you like a overline guideline to like where you're trying to get it at. So let's break it down, okay? Now, there's two main goals. Again, the first is either you want to interact or you want to control. Okay, there's different ways to call these different things, but either your goal is you want to interact with this medium, okay, or you want to dominate this medium. So let's say if I'm in a game and there's a story going on and I want to read the story, that's me wanting to interact, okay? I'm not dominating the story by reading it, but I am finding out what's going on. Now, there's another element. I might go into a quest and there's tons of enemies. I want to kill them as fast as possible. I'm trying to dominate in this interaction. That's a different goal than trying to read the story, okay? There's many examples, and we'll get to this soon, but there's a very big distinction between interacting and control. That's one way you break it down. The other way you break it down is individual and community. Some people are here to have a good time by themselves. That's their main goal. And some people are effectively here to spend time with other people. So these two distinctions also can break up into interact and control. And it basically gives you four different play styles. Now, usually players have one that they mainly focus on, with the two adjacent ones also being in their interests, while the one who's not close to their interests at all, they barely touch it. So this is why this is important to know. And based on that, you'll be able to decide what kind of character you want to play. So let's get on with this. Reincarnate. At this point, basically, they're going to force me to re-level up from level 1 back to level 20, okay? So everything I've picked before is going to stay the same thing. I can change minor things called an archetype between Ranger and Dark Hunter. I was Dark Hunter. I could change to Ranger if I wanted to. I'm going to leave it exactly like it was. Customize. I get to respend what's called my stats, my ability points. So I have all these different truth is, I'm just really rebuilding this up, so no need to do this. Fine, this is close enough. There's a lot that I can explain, but I'm going to explain on the next round, because this round right now actually doesn't mean anything, because I'm right away going to do something called a heroic reincarnation and bring myself back to 0. So all of this doesn't really matter. I'm just doing it because the game's forcing me to rebuild myself up before I can, well, spend another past life. So here I can make my character. I'm going to hit randomize, whatever, pick whatever I want, but this isn't important right now. I can also individually select these things, change eye color, hair color, whatever. This doesn't make a difference right now. Fine. We'll get into this in detail. I just want to wait here. Once again, my character now is being rebuilt. So this is not a good time for me to like just enter the game right away. I need to wait. So this is like, I was like, okay, get this out of the way and we'll move on in just a moment once I'm past this part. Okay. So yeah. So basically we said that we break down the game into 2 and 2. So it's, you either want to interact or control, or you want community or individual. So I'll give you examples for the different things. So let's say you like interacting with things and you like community. So what you're trying to interact is with community. So you join this game, you want an excuse to spend time with friends. Basically, you sit online and you chat with other people. A lot of people use Discord to talk because the in-game voice over here is not that great. But a lot of people just use the chat box. Yeah, the point is to have an excuse to spend time with friends. So when you're going to build a character, the point of your character is something that will enable you to spend time with friends. So whatever your friends are doing, you want to be able to participate in that. So a lot of times people play, I don't know, let's say a tank or a healer, something that a party needs, and they're just like, I'm going to tag along with the party and be useful. And mainly my excuse is I just want to be with everyone and talk and have a good time. So chatting was the goal. So you're going to try to find yourself a character, a build. You're going to try to play. You're in your role-playing game. You want to be a party player who's advantageous for everyone, who can just participate and is useful. and as needed. Maybe you want to be the trapper or the bard. A lot of times people play a bard. A bard, his job is to come along and buff the party. Buff is when you add temporary strength and ability to the rest of the party. So having you is very good. You're like, oh, you're great here in the party. You're helping us out. And people appreciate that. So you can just be part of that. Or maybe you like getting into the nitty-gritties of how to build the characters, and you like talking about builds. There's people who discuss how they want to build a certain character. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And the main thing that they have is enjoying having this back and forth with other players of how they want to build a certain character. This can be very fun, okay? Typically, these kind of players would also do something called, they would run like casual raids. They wouldn't run raids. Raids are a group party where you can do up, instead of 6 for a regular party, you can have 12 in your party. 12 players all at once. And typically, when players do this, okay, they would do it on a lower difficulty because really they're not trying to stress themselves out. They just want to have a good time. So it's 12 guys all together having a good time. I know 12 party members running and doing this raid or whatever it is and casually playing. So this is somebody who wants to interact with the community, okay? On the flip side of that, we have somebody who wants to control community. So there's a lot of online games where the entire point is to dominate or to control your competition. So these are like, I don't know, Fortnite or PUBG or Battle Royale, where the whole goal is you're going to go and you're going to fight a whole bunch of other players and defeat them. That's the main point. Now, DDO allows, it is enabled, there is such an option to go to certain places where you can face off face-to-face against other players. However, this isn't the main focus of the game, and it's not supported or encouraged in any kind of way. It's there as an option. So if you really want to, you can make a character and go face off against another character in a designated area. There is even a way to make like team death matches where you can set up, but it's not really supported in any kind of a way. This is probably the thing that is least supported in this game. However, there's many other ways where you can dominate or control. Maybe you want to be a character who goes and is the world first, okay, to achieve certain achievements. It could be you and a whole group, and your grading group wants to be the first to do a certain raid on the highest difficulty, and you want to be like known to be the one who did it first. Or maybe you're just one who corners the market because you're always selling the highest, you're always selling ingredients, and you've got tons of shards and platinum, and I don't know, whatever it is, there's different ways that you can dominate. Or you want to be the one who pushes certain difficulties, okay? Whatever it is, you're only satisfied when you're like competing against a community, okay, and you want to be better than everybody else. So this would be control in a setting of community. So those are two when it comes to community. Now we got to get to the other two. The other two are called individual, but we'll get there in a second. Let's start. I'm going to step into the character, and the game is going to ask me to please re-level my character from level 1 all the way up to level 20. It's re-adding all my abilities little by little, and one of them is just going to fill up this thing and give me a whole bunch of action points. The reason I'm walking so slow is because I have some items that I'm still wearing that are way over my level. So this is like level 32. I can't wear this stuff, so let's take this off. You can't equip an item who's too high for your level. However, if somehow you ended up with it equipped like this, where it wasn't done intentionally, but it happened. So the game will make you go slow to prevent it happening. Okay, fine. Let's talk to this Life Shaper. I got a whole bunch of experience. It basically gave me 20 levels of experience all in one shot. I can now level up directly all the way to level 20. Okay? So this is the Life Shaper. Okay, this NPC. Basically, I'm stuck in this room until I get back to level 20. So what is this exactly? And I'm going to say yes. Basically, I'm just going to follow the path that I was on before and just say yes, yes, yes to everything, because really, right now, it doesn't make any difference because I'm not planning to continue from 20 back to 30. I'm going to drop back down to level 1. So, next. Right now I'm doing something, when I level up, I can explain the basic premise of what's happening over here. So basically I get something, what I have right now is called a feat. They allow me to every other few levels, I can pick one of these things called a feat. And I also have a few like granted class feats. These three that I got over here at the top were automatically, because I'm playing a certain kind of a ranger, I'm automatically got these things. Each one of these adds another like a little bit of ability to me. Okay, this adds a certain ability. This adds a certain ability. These are all like auto granted based on my class. This is something I'm selecting. So your build is, there's initial choices you make at the beginning, and then there's individual choices you make as you go. So I'm gonna, every 4 levels they allow me to add another stat point. Then they allow me to add my skill points. These are, again, these are abilities that level up in different ways. And yeah, this is why this game can be so complicated, because you have all the options in your hand. Thing is, what do you do with all those options? It can be, well, overwhelming. And my goal is to, if you understand what is your ultimate goal, or what is it going to make you have fun playing this game, deciding what to do and what to pick and what to play will be way more manageable. So that's why it's so important. So right now I'm just leveling back up. Take me. Let's go fast through this. Okay, what level are we already? Level 7. Got to get back to level 20. So I'm going to just keep on going. Yes, yes, yes. Don't seem to be able to spend my skill points fast enough. So yeah, basically what happens is when you start this game off, it's kind of like being dropped into real life, like moving out of someone's parents' basement and being given the keys to an apartment, say, okay, you're on your own. And you're like, wait a second, where do I get food from? Well, you go buy it. Yeah, where do I get money from? Oh, you got to get a job. Oh, good luck. And just being dropped out like that. So this game basically gives you the freedom to do anything, but really it's all on you. And it can be overwhelming. So it's very important that you have some kind of a build guide. And for that, first of all, you want to know the terminology, because when you go searching for what would be considered a good build, a build is what I'm doing right now, this character, how we set up, what classes, what race, what skills and abilities, what enhancements, all these things. If you have no clue of the terminology and you have no clue of what you want to play, there's no chance you're going to have a good time, because it's just, I mean, it's just random. It's kind of, I'll give you an analogy. If you walk up to a buffet someplace and they have tons of different kinds of food, if it's your local type of food, so you're like, you gravitate towards the things you already know and you like, and you fill up a plate with whatever the stuff you like, okay? You might try out something that you've never tasted before, but generally speaking, you know what you're looking at. If you end up at some buffet, someplace where it's not from your local culture, and you don't know what's at that buffet, okay? Everything just looks new and weird, and it might be great, but it might give you a stomachache. You might be allergic to it. You don't even know what it is. So you can have choice paralysis. This happens to a lot of people. They stand there and just look at, like, what am I doing here? How do I even start? Because you have no clue. Is it going to be sweet, salty, savory? You don't know what it's going to taste like. Just a whole bunch of stuff. And unless you start tasting, you won't know. And there's other people who just start randomly taking the whole bunch of things, and then they find out that the tastes don't combine or don't work together and don't complement each other. And again, you're not going to have a good time. So really knowing what is it that you like, okay, and then knowing how to ask for what you like is what my goal is. I'll explain to you, basically, we already explained 2 of the different aspects, and we're going to touch on the other 2 in just a moment. Okay, and after that, basically, it's important to remember the terminology for different things. And yeah, you'll basically be on your own to go search out or create your own character build and play the game, and hopefully have a good time. So it is my goal. This character that I'm right now reincarnating, his entire goal was to make a character who can basically do a little bit of everything. He has single target melee DPS. He's got multiple target melee DPS. He's got range DPS. He's got caster DPS. He's got healer abilities. It's got tank abilities. It basically does all the stuff, and it does them all in a significant amount, enough that you can actually, well, get a little bit of a taste of each one of these abilities, and by the time you get to the max level, you can commit. You can decide which one you want to do, and then you focus on that. Because you can't do all at the same time and be good at it. That's not possible. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're good. What we just did right now, we finished something called a epic reincarnation. Now, an epic reincarnation, as I explained before, gives you something. It gives you a feat. What feat does it give? It's in the name, epic. It gives me an epic feat. So, if I go to my character sheet and we go to feats, now in epic past lives, I have this. This is permanent now. If I drop this thing on my bar over here and I click it, I turn this thing on. As long as this thing is active, every few seconds, I'll heal for a little bit, okay? And also, just by passively taking this, it gives me another few hit points per level, okay? And, yeah, these things are permanent. So this small little thing is going to make it so I have this on me at all times. How long does it take for it to click? Yeah, so once a minute, this thing ticks. So basically, if I stay for a long time in one place, first of all, it just gives me hit points, which I always like. But it also, if I have to wait it out for some reason and stay in a certain place for a long time, it will heal me up. So yeah, that's all it does. But this is permanent. So this character, going on from here on, will always have this feat. This character is now stronger because of it. Before we move on, though, I'm going to do something now. I want to do a heroic reincarnation. And every time you do a heroic reincarnation, the game, or a racial reincarnation, where basically you get a feat who increases an ability based on what kind of race you're playing, not what kind of based on what kind of class you're playing. What the game does is it takes all of your items and dumps them in something called a TR cache, a true reincarnation cache, where basically it keeps all of your items temporarily. You can't put items in here, you can only take items out. So before I move on, I need to empty this out before I can do another reincarnation. We've got 19 spots here. Start moving things out. Let's see. There's certain things I can move into the next... there's certain things I can sell. I don't need all this stuff. Like all my spell components, I'm no longer going to use because I'm playing a different character who doesn't use spell components. So let's just sell all this stuff. You can dump this in here. And unlock this. Also, I can just equip certain items. I'm not high enough level because I'm only level 20. Fine. Let's go sell the thing. Okay, you know, I'm going to get back to explaining the, what's it called? The different things. We talked about you can interact or control, and we said we can do that based on either individual or community. So we already talked about community. So now let's talk about, well, individual. To be honest, individual is more of my type. More of a, well, I happen to be an introvert, so being an introvert usually leads you to want to do more solo kind of content. So let's say I want to interact, but as an individual. So that means that I'll be the kind of person who likes to, typically referred to as a flower sniffer. Basically, I walk around the game and I try to find every single secret, every different kind of like hidden place in the game, I want to visit. I want to see what it has to offer. I want to go and, you know, check it out. I'm attracted to those particular, what kind of secrets are there here? What is the game hiding? I like those kind of things, okay? Those are the kind of things that you would do as an individual, because I'm trying to interact with the game. Another thing who's an individual thing is somebody who likes to read all the dialogue, okay? If you like reading all the dialogue and trying to get part of the story, so that means you like interacting as an individual, because the rest of the party has nothing to do with it. It's just you. I personally don't like doing that much, so this is not exactly my... I'm not a pure interacting as an individual. You'll see what I am soon. And another one is cosmetics. Some people, all they care about is how their character looks. And the entire game for them is how the character looks. And they'll go and they'll hunt out pieces of gear that they can use later to make their character look in a certain way. And the game gives you that option. You can make your character look a certain way. You want to play a role-playing game and you want to look like, I don't know, you want to look like the weirdest character possible. So you're going to go get yourself a chef outfit using a fish as a sword and a garbage can lid as your shield. You can totally do these things. There's so many different weird cosmetics you can combine and make look in a certain way. Yeah. I usually make my characters look nice or pretty or fancy or intimidating, but you can make him however you want. So there's an entire game aspect of basically making your character how it looks. The final section is playing as an individual, but you like control. And this is probably the one that I'm most drawn to. And, well, it's basically you like challenging yourself, like soloing raids, which is something I like doing a lot. Where basically it's me versus the raid. The raid is not meant to be soloed, it's meant to be done with a group of 12 people. But I want to solo it. So I will. So this is another thing where you have the option, okay, to dominate or to defeat a certain piece of content, okay, and if you're into that kind of stuff, well, yeah, the game allows you to. Every quest in the game so far has been soloed. I've soloed every quest in the game, except for the new one. I actually didn't play it yet, but barring the newest quest, I just haven't checked it out. Every other quest in the game I've soloed. Even the ones who were designed to be done specifically with a party, I've soloed. So the game is definitely allowing you to solo. Even the things that they really don't want you to solo, you can. And I love that challenge. Like I'm emptying out, moving stuff. Anything was not bound to my character. I'm moving into my shared bank. So it doesn't take up too much space over here. I've got 33 spaces and I got 26 things over here. Okay, good enough. Yeah, once I empty out this TR cache, it's going to disappear. So yeah. One of the things I was saying is, you know, challenging yourself versus the content, because you want to dominate the content. And I'm not trying to... There's some people who like dominating the content as a form of competing with the community. Those are the people who solo a raid, but never explain how they did it. Or they make a character who does crazy amounts of damage per second, crazy DPS, but again, they won't tell you how they did it, because they want to be the best. And the whole point was to be the best. It's not for me like that. Whatever I do, I love explaining and teaching. So if I solo a raid, I'll go into painstakingly detail, showing you exactly how I did it, hoping that you'll do it too. Because really, I'm not trying to compete with you. Okay? I wanted to beat the game. It wasn't the other players. I want the other players to do the same thing, to have the same experience that I had, to enjoy the game the way I enjoyed it, which is I challenged myself, me versus the game, and I won. And I want them to do the same thing and have that same experience. So yeah, based on your intention, the way you play the game will be different. Another thing I like doing is I like optimizing builds. So let's say somebody comes up with a build. Sometimes I have original builds, sometimes somebody else comes up with a build. The build I'm about to do is based on a build which is not mine. Okay, I'm not going to take credit for it. Somebody else came up with it. It's 18 fighter, 1 favorite soul, and 1 warlock. Okay, it's a very, very high DPS build, and I use Razor Claw Shifter. Okay, I made a version of it, which I'm going to be doing now. Okay, basically I'm taking the existing concept and I'm fitting it to work for me, the way that I like playing the game the most. And yeah, so optimizing build is something I like doing. Another thing that you might like doing is grinding for gear. Some people want to, like, it's just them versus trying to get the best possible gear and working on it no matter what. They like farming out more and more and more and more gear, getting the best, most optimized with all the abilities on it, just so they can push themselves farther. Now, sometimes you'll have two players who are doing the same thing but for different reasons. So let's say the gear, the one I just said now. If all you're trying to do is be a part of a group who beats the best, who defeats the highest raids, you might need to get the best gear in the game. You're not going to enjoy the process of getting it. You just have to do it to get there. But some players might enjoy actually acquiring and having the gear as its own goal. So there's different reasons why you're doing it. What does it make a difference? Because if you're the kind of player who's, you interact with the community, you want to just have a good time with friends, you don't want to set yourself up with a build who must have best performance gear in order to do anything. So basically, you want to make sure that whatever it is your ultimate goal, what are the thing that you're looking forward to, make sure you make a build that suits that particular need, or you're going to basically not enjoy yourself. So right now we're going to go for a heroic true incarnation. Just like before, it cost me something called a Heart of Wood, which is what I acquired last time. Shout out to the guildie who helped me farm tokens of the 12 so I could buy this thing. And this will give me a whole bunch of things. It will give me 2 more build points. It will give me another past life of a ranger, dark hunter. It will give me a character aspect. There's different things it will give me. Okay, my character respec will basically allow me to build my character again. It tells me what it costs me. It's going to cost me 20 levels of experience or XP. It's going to cost me this Heart of Wood that I just put in. And this is all the stuff it's going to give me. And these stuff are permanent. So let's move on. Once again, I've got to put my name in. Okay, logging out. Once again, at this screen, the game is in the background, rebuilding up my character and preparing all my stuff. It's taking all the stuff out of my inventory and my character bank and shoving it into something called a True Reincarnation cache. It's its own bank. It's removal only. It's basically taking all the stuff that I had from my previous life and putting it into a bank and say, okay, we're putting this aside right now. We'll get back to it soon, and we'll take it from there. And it's also going to add my new feat to my character, and I'm going to wait. In 1 minute, we're going to, a few minutes, whatever, we're going to go back to this character, and we're going to start building him up, and I'm going to show you the build. So basically, yeah, we've talked about this. You can make a character like to either interact or control, and you want to make a character who's either based on community or individual. I'll give you more examples for what it breaks down. If you like playing by yourself, if you're primarily a solo player, so it's going to be very important to you that you have a character who's self-sufficient. Okay? You want your character to be able to go out on its own and complete content. If you can't do it by yourself, if you always have to wait for a party, you're not going to have a good time. So you want to have a self-sufficient character. However, if you're playing primarily with a group, so then you can, what's called min-max. Hi, Kevin. Good to see you. If you're trying to min-max, if you're trying to play with a party, so you can focus more on having one ability. So let's say you want to be the healer, and that's all you do. You heal. You're very good at healing. You never run out of spell points, and you can cast very fast, and you're never interrupted. But you can't clear a dungeon by yourself. You can't complete a raid by yourself. You're dependent on a party. But again, your whole point was to play with a group, and you want to be useful for that group. So you focused your character in that kind of a way. Being self-sufficient isn't what you care about. Okay, so based on how you can still play a cleric as a self-sufficient cleric, but you'd have to make sure that he has good damage per second and he can clear stuff by himself. You would build the same character but different. You would give up some of his healing abilities because you're not trying to heal a whole party, it's just you, and you would invest it more in your attack and damage. Okay, so those would be like different things. Or if you're trying to control, let's say you want to make a bard, you want to buff characters. Okay, so you can either do this because you're trying to help out a party, but it could be you're trying to make a bard because you want to be able to something called bless a chest. Basically, you make the loot in the chest. Loot is the stuff you get from a chest, the rewards you get from a chest, be more valuable. And you also want to be able to have fast movement speed, so you want to go fast through quests. You also want to probably take a splash of something who can open locks, because you want to be able to pick every single lock in the game and get every kind of chest you can possibly get to get as much loot as possible. Maybe you'll farm out basically means you repeatedly do something looking for a specific item. You'll farm out I don't know, augments or filigrees or things that you can put on the auction house and sell for a lot. You might want to collect materials. There's different things you might want to do because you might be more into like the control aspect of it. Again, based on what your ultimate goal is, that should determine what kind of build you want. So once you know, you can think to yourself and say, okay, I really like this particular aspect of a game. Once you've made up your mind and once you know what is it you enjoy doing, so then when you come to DDO, it'll be much easier for you to make a character who's focused towards that. Now, you might not be able to do this yourself the first time, and for this, you can look for a build. So you can either go, so you go to DDO Wiki for all the information you need, and you go for the DDO forums if you want to look for builds. And these are builds that other players posted. You look for something who's kind of recent, and players will just give you the whole write-up of what you need to do, what level, what class, what character. And usually if it's good, it'll even tell you how to play it. And basically, if you know what you're looking for, basically, you know what the ultimate goal is for your character, you'll be able to find a build that suits your needs. You're like, I want somebody who does a lot of damage, who's self-sufficient. Great, you can find that. I want somebody who's a very good party player. I want somebody who's very good at utilities. Basically, you can try and tune, and you may decide, I'm more of the kind of character who wants to stay out of damage. I want to stay far away. I want to be a ranged or a caster. I don't want to be in the front lines. Or maybe I want to be in the front lines. And you can make either a melee or a ranged. You can pick basically your play style and fine-tune it to be perfect for you, as long as you know ultimately what your goal is. So, yeah, that's why this is so important to know. Now let's get into the reincarnation. Okay, so when we start the game, when you build a first character, you're going to land on this character screen. And this character screen is where basically you start having all your choices. This is where you're going to decide what your character is going to do. Okay, so let's go through the basics, the different things. So they grouped them up into 4 categories just to make it easier. Okay, those melee, these are primarily characters who their thing is to be in the front line, and they use usually weapons to be in the front line. Again, this you can build it in any kind of way. You can have a caster as a front line also. There's a whole bunch of things you can do, but generally speaking, melee is meant to be in the front line. If I go into their classes, I have a whole bunch of options. I have 2 different flavors of fighter. These are both fighter, considered the same class, but there's 2 different flavors. You can pick one of them. You have Barbarian, which is a second flavor. Barbarian. You've got Paladin. Again, 2 different flavors of Paladin, slightly different. They're different kind of things. This Paladin uses like full armor, and this one uses hand wraps and basically a robe. This one is better at avoiding spells because of something called reflex saves. It's got something called evasion. Okay, and this one is more. It moves around less. So here's a very good example. If you're a character who's got good twitch skills, basically, you're good at moving around very fast. So you can make a character who's very dynamic, where positioning yourself is very important. So you might want to play a ranged character where you keep on running back and targeting enemies and firing at them. If you're not very good at that, you might want to have a character who's basically stays in the front. So you might want to play a paladin like this, who basically stands in the front line, who's not worried about taking a lot of damage because you can block. Okay? So based on everything that makes the game enjoyable for you, you're going to make the character to suit that. You're going to play that role. Okay? And finally, Monk is another one who's got a few different flavors. There's Monk and Dragon Disciple. Dragon Disciple is a bit of a spellcastery monk. Okay? I can't go into detail right now for every specific one, but we'll just go over the different classes. So that'll be melee. Spellcasters, these are again, primarily do spells. So Sorcerer, you got Sorcerer and Wild Mage, where basically these are the most... Hi there, Steelmaster 89. Thanks for the lurk. This one, basically, you do a lot of damage very, very fast. You're always dependent on spell points, and that's your main challenges. Not running out of spell points and not dying in one hit. because you're not very defensive. You stay out of range and you blast everything from far away. You've got Cleric, where you can either use yourself to do damage or you can heal, but both of them are very good. This one's a positive spell, positive Cleric, positive healing and stuff like that, and Dark Apostate, which is negative, where basically it's like the counter version of regular Cleric. You go into a dark shadow form and you cure yourself on negative spells. Yeah, Wizard. This is the guy who knows all of the spells. You can also be an undead wizard. Okay, he doesn't cast as fast and maybe as powerful, but he definitely has all the spells, most spells. So if you like trying out different kind of spells, definitely the guy. Favorite soul is more of a warrior spellcaster. So like Cleric can be a warrior. Favorite soul is tuned to be a warrior. Can heal also, but war first and healing later. Druid. You can shapeshift into a bear or a wolf or a kind of like a swarm. There's different forms you can have as a druid. Primarily cast, but yeah. This is a very cool option. And Warlock. Warlock is, I would consider this the gateway caster. As I mentioned before with Sorcerer, the main problem with Sorcerers is they run out of spell points. Warlock has no such problem. It basically fights like a melee. You take your mouse, press down a button, and he just fires. And he never runs out of spell points. However, it's of course balanced because he does less damage. Then he can't do his damage and as much damage as fast as, let's say, a Sorcerer. But yeah, but he stays for much longer. And there's different versions of this also. We can't get to all of them. Let's go back to styles. Specialist. In the Specialist, you've got a whole bunch of different things. One of the different character types. Sorry, using the word things is the wrong word. You got Ranger and Dark Hunter. These are two different flavors of Ranger. This is your typical Ranger, and Dark Hunter is a Trapper Ranger. He has the ability to also do traps. Rogue is you can either sneak, you can also just be straight up front lines, but usually not as strong. But primarily, you have the ability to do traps. Bard, this is a character whose job is to buff the party. You can also, again, all these characters you can build into either a spellcaster or a melee. You can try to make a tank out of them. So this is your typical bard who does buffs, and Stormsinger is a bard who primarily focuses on doing casting and damage. You got Artificer. There's another specialist who can cast spells, has a pet, can disable traps, uses a crossbow. And you got an Alchemist. Alchemist, well, he uses flasks as his main spell casting. And there's a very interesting mechanic with the different interactions between different spells who makes your spells more powerful. But you don't have to get into that, whatever. I'm not going to overcomplicate things. And finally, Iconic. This is the one that I'm going to be using, okay? Iconic is basically the game's way of saying, okay, you don't want to play the first 15 levels of the game. You can start at level 15, but you can't end at 20 and go back to 1. You're going to have to go all the way to 30 before you move ahead, okay? And they already start off with one fixed class. You can change it later with something with a lesser heart of wood, whatever. I'm not going to get to that. But basically, each one of them is kind of a twist on some other class. So this is a human fighter, but he has certain special abilities. And this is a elf cleric, but again, special abilities. A blade forged, which is a upgraded version of regular warforged paladin. A deep gnome is one of these casters. Aasimar Scourge, a ranger, tiefling scoundrel. These are all different these are preset, let's call them prestige classes, okay? I'm going to be using Razor Claw Shifter. The Razor Claw Shifter is kind of the dog version, when the Tabaxi is your cat version, okay? And Chaos Mancer basically is the newest class that they added, okay? A Ladrin Elf, and he's a Chaos Caster. Fine. I just want to go back and let's take one of these specialists just for a second. Let's say I picked Ranger, okay, and I moved on to Path. The game gives you this thing called predestined paths, where it tells you can pick one of these three. Please never pick them, okay? The thing is, when they were created, they might have been good, but the game has changed so many times that now their description no longer is accurate to what it actually does, and you'll be taking usually suboptimal abilities. So please find a build and follow it. Don't use one of these things, okay? It's almost as bad as you picking your own things, okay? Fine, so we'll just get past path, then we got race. Each one of these races, each one of the races, okay, has unique abilities, okay? Some of them are either special stats. You know, let's say in stats over here, it tells me that when I start off this thing, they're all basically equal, okay? But you have certain racial traits and you've got healing hands. This is like inherent to this particular race. If I take Dragonborn, come on, stop doing this. Dragonborn, if I go into its stats, it doesn't have, it's not going to show me the skills right now. I have to go into more, the next screen will tell me more stuff. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if you haven't picked up on it, my mouse is broken. And every time I click, it double clicks. Here, this Drow Elf, okay, gives me a huge list of all those different things. It tells me that it's automatically, I have expertise with Shuriken, which is usually a special weapon that not everybody can use inherently. This character can use it inherently. So if I'm planning to make a character who's going to use this thing, if I take this particular race, I've saved myself a feat. I don't have to then manually take this thing. I have spell resistance. I've got extra senses. That means more to my spot. Or I got extra saves against sleep, against immune. Actually, I'm immune to sleep, but I've got extra saves against enhancements. I've got proficiency with short sword and a rapier. There's basically every race over here has its unique power that it gets by taking it. Now also another thing that you'll notice is every race has either a buff or debuff to certain stats. So this particular race has extra charisma and extra intelligence, but less constitution. So it's weaker, but its spellcasting abilities and intelligence are higher. Yeah, so basically I can just click down and go through all the different ones. There's a whole bunch of different elves. There's Eladrin, Corvir, regular elf, there's Wood Elf. There's half elf. Each one of these is different flavors on elf with different abilities, slightly different bonuses and like pluses and minuses to their stats. Half-elf have some of the abilities of human and some of the abilities of elves. So like they're a mixture of the two. So half-orc, orc blood, and orc. There's different like certain things that have extra strength. If you're not sure, take human. Human is always the most generalist of all classes. You know, you even got a robot race. Okay, fine. We're going to go back and build our character. Finally, at the last stage, you always have the ability to, after you spend your points, you can create the way the character looks, but we're going back to our initial start. We're going to do an iconic here. Okay, let's spend my points. So each stat over here powers a different ability that your character has, and based on what you're trying to do, you will make a class that uses certain ones of these and it probably neglects the other ones. Okay, and because it's the scope of the complexity of trying to explain it in 1 minute is a little bit too much. This is why I'm gonna reinforce you have to have somebody who has a build for you, where you're like, should I take a lot of intelligence, maybe a lot of constitution, maybe too much dex? You might not know that a certain skill you want to take later, a certain feat you want to take later, requires having a minimum amount of a certain stat. If you don't know that, you'll like, why can't I take this specific ability? Well, you haven't invested enough in that stat. So knowing all these things is important. Yeah, so basically this is how I'm gonna spend the points in this particular character. Okay. My attack and damage are all going to be based on strength, so I could go higher, but unless you're very, very, very focused only on one thing, which I'm not, I'm a little bit more of a survivalist, so I'm taking a little bit of the points out, and I'm going to move it to a little other thing. So dexterity, this is going to determine my reflex saves, and since I'm going to be using something called evasion, which means if somebody tries to fire at me and they miss, I take no damage. So because of that, I'm investing this a bit more. And also, I'm using something called two-weapon fighting. Where basically, I'm going to be using hand wraps. And for that, you need a minimum requirement. 15 to take the first feat, and then 17 to the next one. And then we've got Constitution. This is going to determine my hit points and my overall life force, my survivability, and also my fortitude save. That means when somebody tries to poison me or something, the chances I'll take damage from it will depend on something called a fortitude save, which scales off this number. There's intelligence, will give me skills, but more importantly for me, later I'll be using something called a trance. This trance gives me a temporary boost, adds to my attack and damage, and it'll scale off how much intelligence I have. Wisdom, this is going to determine my will save, so if they try to mind control me, this is important for that. And charisma, I don't really need. Okay? So yeah, this is the way I'm going to build this particular character. Let's move on. And now I get to spend all my spell points, my skill points. These are going to be the different skills that I have. Okay? So I really want to be able to cast using scrolls and stuff like that. And for that, I'm going to have to invest in something called Use Magical Device. You have to put at least 1 point in it to make it active. Before that, it's not available. Also, tumbling, I like, so I'm going to invest in that. Jump, I need. Let's see. I'd like to make sure that I can use the ability called Perform, even though I'm not really going to use it, but I'd like to have it unlocked. I can use Heal if I want to use a specific, if I want to increase my healing abilities. Balance takes into consideration how much time it takes me to get back up if I get knocked down. Let's put this into heal. Fine. Because I have something called a tome of intelligence, overall, as I increase in levels, I'll get more and more of the benefits of that tome, and I'll actually have more and more skill points every level to spend. So I'll be able to fill up more things. Okay, now for the build itself. So basically here I have a screen capture of my build. Okay. So I'm going to have this on the second monitor for myself. But basically this is what I'm following. I used something called the DDO builder planner or whatever it is to create this character offline so I could tweak it and play around with it. So it's going to be 18 barbarian, 1 bard, and 1 warlock. That's how this build is going to be made. Okay. So I'm taking my power attack, which is increase my attack and damage. It increases my damage, but I'm going to pay for it by giving up some of my attack. And then I've got 2-weapon fighting, 2-weapon defense, increase my bludgeoning, crit range, improve 2-weapon fighting, graded 2-weapon fighting, eventually it'll be toughness, etc., whatever. So let's get back to So I might change the order of which feats I take based on what level I'm starting at. Since I'm starting at level 15, I don't care as much. Basically, the first 15 levels don't have to be optimized. They just have to work because I'm not going to be trying to level with these feats. So here's all the stuff that I just got. Okay, so right over here, there's a gigantic list of things that right out the gate I'm going to get. So some of these are auto-granted. Some of them are based on my class. Some are based on my race. Because I'm taking a barbarian, so I've got something called Barbarian Rage. It's an ability I can click who adds to my strength. Okay, there's something dismiss rage that goes together with this. If I want to get rid of that rage, like I can't cast spells while I'm in rage, so I can click this to dismiss that. Because I'm a barbarian, my character moves 10% faster. I have something, this is a stance. I can turn this on. This won't work together with power attack. If I turn this on, it will make sure I'm more defensive. There is an ability to, sometimes you can charm monsters, and this will allow me to dismiss those charms. Heroic durability, this gives me extra hit points. Okay, based on certain combat feats I take. Okay. Here's what I picked before, power attack. This is something that I turn on. This won't work together with defensive fighting. You gotta pick one or the other. I have both of them that I can choose from, but I can only use active one of them. These are two different kinds of attacks. Sunder goes past my enemy's armor. And Trip goes past, is an ability that makes it that I can trip him on the floor if he fails to save. Here's a whole list of all the weapons I can use that are exotic. I get proficiency with hand wraps, which is something I'm going to be using. I get light armor proficiency. I get martial weapons proficiency. It gives me a whole list of all the weapons I can use. All these things are part of the build. So basically, as this character, I get all this stuff. Okay, and it's going to show me my total skills, what I have, what are my stats, what are my saves. So my fortitude save is 5, my reflex save is 2, and my will save is 1. So right now, I'm very susceptible to like mind control effects. If they try to hit me with poison or something like that, no chance. But my reflex saves are like not that good. I can increase all these things, but right now, this is what I'm starting off with. And finally, here's my character. Now you can just hit randomize and find whatever, like, close enough, I like that, and stop. Or you can pick, say, okay, I like the skin color, let's say, so I'm going to lock that. Now if it randomizes, skin colors are going to stay the same because I locked it. I typically like making characters where the hair is white, and to make the hair stick out that it's white, I make the character as dark as possible. Okay, basically I want the white hair to look white. That's it. So the contrast is what makes a difference. Okay, let's pick a hairstyle. Keep in mind that the vast majority of the time you're going to be seeing your character from the back. So when it comes to how your character looks, really the back of the head is the part that you really want to care about. Unless you put a helmet on and then you don't see the face anyways. I guess we're going to go with this one. So I'm not going to lock this into place just in case I mess it up later. Got the hair color. Lock it. Skin color. Lock it. Facial hair. I think I like 13 for the vibe of this particular character. You got tattoo colors. Well, we're going to make them contrast, so we're going to make them as white as possible. Tattoo style, let's change. call this one for now. And facial detail. Basically, this adds scars. I usually don't like the scars. Lips. Because he's a very dark character, I'm probably going to want lighter lips so you can actually see his lips. But yeah, this is part of the role-playing game that a lot of players like. This. I like this. I don't know. Making my own character look the way I want him to look. Change the nose. The way you change the nose changes the whole face. It's very hard to see with such a dark skin tone. I want the eyes to be as open as possible, because from far away you can barely see the eyes, like blend into the background. And finally, eyebrows. Overall, this suits the vibe. There's the lips. Give him the little teeth. Nah, don't need the teeth. And for alignment, we'll do chaotic natural. Whoops. I'm lucky that the misclick was after I hit chaotic natural, but okay, fine. There we go. We've created our character. Now, we need to log in and actually start leveling him up. Right now, the character is having all of its stuff created and dumped into a reincarnation cache. So, gotta wait for a few seconds. Okay, good. Now, let's set everything up. Rather than sweating every time and trying to figure out exactly how I want everything to look and try to move everything into place. So I've set everything up and then I've saved it, okay? It's a command, /UI, layout, save, and then the name, whatever you want to call it. And you hit enter. And next time you want to recall it, you can hit the same thing, UI, layout, load, and then the name you called it. And it'll just move everything into place. So that's what just happened now. I'm going to refuse the training. I don't want to bother with it. Just setting up all my shortcuts. Not all of them, but the ones I'm going to use a lot. I basically set them up based on my priorities. So, like the main menu, my character sheet, my enhancements, then my epic destinies, then my Reaper points, then the adventure compendium, then quest journal. Only then do I have the social tab. That should tell you a lot. And then they've got this shard exchange and the DDO store. Yeah, let's go get ourselves. First things first is when you die in this game, it sends you back to where you enter this world. So right now, if I die, I'll end up over here in the Hall of Heroes. Okay? I happen to have a guild, and one of the options you can do as a guild, if you've got a guild ship, is you can bind your character to the guild airship. So if you do die in the middle of a quest, when you release your character, it'll end up back on this ship. So it's very convenient, and get that done first. That's a very good question. Thanks for pointing it out. Usually, my main server is Orion. This particular character that I've been playing this whole time, I haven't noticed, is actually on Thalanis, where Axel plays. So Axel from Axel DDO's channel. And that's where I am right now. Let's head over to the marketplace. Okay. We are a barbarian. Arganesson. Is Streamtom still playing on Arganesson? I mean, I know he's not streaming, but you see him around. Okay, let's get back to the leveling process. So we're going to just advance as a barbarian to level 15. Okay, that's what I heard. As far as I knew, he was having internet problems, and yeah. Unfortunately, happens. Okay, let's get back to the build. So basically, I'm going to fill up all the stuff that I used before. The things that I've invested points in automatically popped it up top. Things I haven't put any points in stay at the bottom. So yeah, I'm going to start investing in these things and then move on after that. I don't really need a lot in perform, but I'm going to square this off. 4. Then, I don't know what the minimum requirement is for it, but I'll see later. Every time I level up as a character, I get new things. So, like, these are more feats. I get barbarian damage reduction. This is inherent because I'm a barbarian. I get something called wilderness lore. This is a feat that stacks a whole bunch of times, and it gives you certain abilities. Here, the characters, I'm showing the skills, things I've increased it. How much points I've spent, and how much I've got total. Okay? That was it. Took my next level. Moving on. And two-handed fighting. Two-weapon fighting, sorry. Not what I meant to hit. I meant to hit this. And I'm going to keep on just increasing my strength and putting the points in. As I level up, I start getting more points per level because of my increased intelligence, and then I can invest more in more things over here. Okay. Improved weapon fighting. I want to confirm something. I am chaotic natural. Good. Fine. Your alignment is also important for different abilities, which is something you might not know if you're a new player. I'm like, what does it make a difference if I'm chaotic or neutral or whatever? But certain classes can't work. Like, you can't be a barbarian and be lawful. Got to be neutral or chaotic.
Something strange.
That's why certain classes don't mix.
Stormreach, the mysterious Isle of Dread. Speak to Wolf, the gatekeeper in Stormreach Harbor, to learn more about this land of dinosaurs and danger.
I have so many points that I no longer can fill up all these things. Okay. The truth is, if I want to be more efficient with my points, I really should change something from the build and move it so I take one level of Bard now. Because once Bard has access to use that magical device, I'll be able to put way more points into this right away. Yeah. Now let's do that. Okay. Are you certain? Yes, I want to be a bard. Dialogue won't work. Go find a different bard trainer. See if it's a dialogue. If it's not capable, he'll tell me that I can't, but he's not. He just doesn't want to move on. Come on, bard trainer. Where are you? Advance is standard bard. Bards have more skills, but now when I use magical device, I'll be able to go way higher in this, and for future also. This and also humble. I get to pick one spell as a bard for this level. Out of all of these, I found that I usually never use them. So, this is a meme spell. Basically, it helps you swim faster, but I'm never going to use it. I'm going to take this. This is the only spell that you can't get any other way. Okay, let's go back to leveling my barbarian. Where's barbarian trainer over here? Cleric, paladin, rogue, sorcerer, favored soul, druid, barbarian. Okay, now because I have one class of what's it called, Bard. Bard can actually use magical device as a class. If this skill is part of your class, you spend 1 point, you get +1. If it's not your main class, when you spend 1 point, you get a half a point. Now, if you are multi-classing, so when you're taking the class was appropriate, you get to spend 1 point, 1 for 1. If you take another class, you get to spend only a half a point. The difference is how much the maximum can you go. Okay, so at level 20, the maximum you'll have is 23 points, because at level 1 you get to spend 4 points. So the maximum you'll have at level 20 is plus 23 to that ability. And if you are off class, so the maximum you'll have will be exactly half of that. Okay, it'll be 11 and a half. That's the maximum you'll be able to add to that skill. But now, because I already took my 1 level of Bard, I can increase this stat much higher. Okay, I'm not going to add any more to perform right now. I think I've got enough.
By the edge of the Stormreach market, a pensive form
Actually, I can check.
scans the thronging crowd. She is searching for heroes. Heroes able and willing to face an unknown foe in the ancient ruins of Giant Hold.
Yeah, I just made sure I've got enough total ranks of perform that I can use that. Looking for a specific feat. Don't know why I can't find it. Did I take it already? Don't think so. Oh, I already have it. Right. 2-weapon fighting is a prerequisite to take improved 2-weapon fighting, which is a prerequisite to take greater 2-weapon fighting. Basically, when I attack with 2 hands, I found it already. I was looking for greater 2-weapon fighting. I didn't remember if I took it or not. That's why I came back to check. So basically, when you attack with 2 hands, so your main hand attacks 100% of the time, and your offhand will hit 20% of the time. Taking this feat increases it to 40% of the time. Then it goes to 60% of the time. Then greater 2-weapon makes it so it's 80% of the time, okay? So basically, I'll be attacking almost twice as much, okay? Fine. I didn't remember if I took it or not. Because I went a little bit off script. So I can't really follow along my build paper anymore. Two weapon defense, okay? This particular feat, okay, gives me +5 physical resistance, which I need. And when I'm wielding two weapons, you get two weapons, which should be hand wraps also, you get 10 magical resistance rating cap. And because I'm using light armor, that's actually important. So unless this is wrong, well, I can always change later, but as far as I know, this should work.
The city of Stormreach is abuzz with the news that a ship has arrived.
Okay, I've hit level 15. This is my iconic character. This is where I landed up at.
Heroes looking for a grand adventure in the clouds. Speak to Captain Aldbar Dranmore in the.
They give me a bunch of starter gear. This is stuff over here. This shifter starter gear. I can use this stuff. I'm probably going to change out half of the stuff. They got this hand wraps, piercing, slashing. The armor is medium armor. I'm going to use light armor. But right now I don't have evasion yet, so I can use medium armor. Let's see if the two weapon fighting triggers. The two weapon fighting, two weapon defense works. If I go to here, no, not this. I need, where is it? It is in MRR. How do I find out what my max MRR is? Does anybody know how to check what your max MRR is? I mean, I can just use items that will force me to see what it is, but... Yeah, I know, it's supposed to be... This character should be light armor, my max should be 100, but the truth is, right now I'm wearing medium, so there's no max. Let's go get light armor. Just so I can check it. Basically, I want to see if that 1 feat worked. That's what I want to check. Yeah, so I'm trying to say right now if the two weapon ability helps. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that with my hand wraps, yeah, two weapon defense, I mean, yeah, it should work. I just don't know for sure. And because I don't see it at the top of my screen if I'm using two weapon fighting or not, so it's a problem. Okay, let's get back to my bank. I've started off the game basically from scratch. They took all of my items you guys saw before and they all shoved them inside of this big thing called a TR cache. So everything I own is now crashed in here. Okay, thank you. So basically now I'm going to look for things, items from 1 to 15 that will be good for my character, and we'll take them out. Okay, cuz. Yeah, that's why I just changed it into light armor, just to test this out. Right now, I've got my light armor on, and now we can see if there's a cap. Nope, still doesn't tell me if there's a cap to it. I guess the only way to know is to max out my MRR, magical resistance rating, and then see if it actually does it or not. Whatever. Magic resistance rating cap bonus. It's a 0. And I'm wearing light armor. Well, avoidance defense doesn't have anything. This guy's incorporeality, concealment, dodge bonus, max dodge, and chance to negate item wear. And then an elemental defense. Sonic, acid, chaos, electric, evil, fire, force, good, lawful, light. Light, negative, poison, sonic, trap. Magic resistance rating cap bonus. It says 0. Ah, okay. Because I noticed I can't see it at the top. So let's get 2 weapons and put them. Got a lot of things to work out, but yeah, let's try. Okay, I'm gonna put on 2 weapons. I'm 2-weapon fighting, but it doesn't show up on the top over here. Let me just recall out for a second. Let's see. See, 2-weapon fighting does not show up on the top over here. How do I check what's the chance of hitting with my second weapon? Offhand hit chance 80%. So yeah, it seems that two-weapon fighting is working. Let's see if it works with hand wraps. Offhand hit chance, yep. Yeah, I found the offhand check. Fine. Offhand hit chance 80%. Okay, good. But I still don't see if I'm getting that bonus, and I guess I won't know until I hit the cap. So unless I increase this to 100, I won't know if I'm actually getting the bonus or not. Okay, let's do the enhancement points, pushing things off. I gotta wrap up the stream. I don't have time in real life. Okay, so the goal right over here is I'm going to be taking the tier 5 from here. And while I rage or shift, I'll be auto healing. Okay, and my multiplier will be increased by 2. At this point, I could go and do this. How much more points do I have? 28 points. Yes, I can. Okay, got all the stuff that I must have to start. Okay, this character got a lot of work to do. Finding items. Yeah, but this is not my main server, so I don't really have that much stuff. Gotta find my old cosmetics. People on the server won't recognize me. Hey, good morning. Thank you. Hope you're having a good day. I just TR'd on stream and now I'm going through the process of getting all my stuff out of my bank. Hey, Drac Dragon, how you doing? Good to see you. Okay, back to what it was before. Probably we should use medium armor, not the light armor. I don't have evasion until past level 2. Okay, let's take out our special attacks. Supreme Cleave is my main attack. Pounces by long jump. Magical Fang, Frenzy is something I turn on. Barbarian Power Attack, something again I turn on. Blood Tribute is a last minute heal. Try not to use it. Cracking Attack. Magical Fang is a buff. I also do that, but depending on at the beginning of the game, I don't like doing it so much because then you can run out of Constitution. But once you got like 50 or 60 Constitution, you can just spam it. That's also true. Let's go get myself a good pair of hand wraps. The free giveaway hand wrap. If I had Sharn ingredients, I'll just craft myself a pair of hand wraps, but unfortunately I don't have that. So we're going to run into the mists, and let's see what happens. I ran, but I don't have a pair.
You stumble through the thick mists. Only you spot a corpse in the grass near the abandoned cart.
Well, the thing is, I don't really play that much on this server, so I'm basically going to run this character through the flagging for every single raid, because the point is to do raids, so
You hear howling.
I don't care about all the rest.
A raven cries somewhere overhead.
Got a few more things that I gotta get from the bank.
Why would someone put so many scarecrows to guard a road in the middle of the forest? What do these straw men keep away? You hear a branch snap behind you. The scarecrow clatters to the ground. As you recover, you realize you can hear noise from up the road to the east, the same way you came.
Yeah, let's go. I don't care about anything more. Let's go get myself a pair of good hand wraps. Well, at least better than the starter hand wraps they give you. See if we got a level 12 augment. No augment, no problem. Let's go to the Hall of Heroes. It's my one. Should have whatever they're called. Remnants. Mysterious remnants. Again, welcome to everyone on YouTube. Hope you're all having a good day. Let's go to the Mysterious Remnant Collector and get ourselves a augment. 4d6 is level 12. So let's take acid. They don't have enough mysterious remnants. I guess not. Well, never mind. Well, now we're going to test the build and see if it's good. How do you test this build? How do you test the build and see if it's good when you start level 15? Well, here's my method. Try to see how far you can get into this quest. You can beat the quest, you're fine. You can beat the end boss, now that's something else. I just remembered I forgot something. I was gonna get it before, forgot it. Yeah, what happened is I moved my character. I did a character transfer from Thelanis to Orion with basically all the good stuff I had around here that I wasn't going to use. So tons of my ingredients and all that stuff, I moved everything off. So I don't have any more. I need to like refarm it. I wasn't planning to TR at the moment. Then, when I did it then, I was like, I'm going to stay at cap and that was it. Also, mysterious remnants. I have plenty of them. See, I just need to get them out of my bank. So, okay, we're good on mysterious remnants. We can go buy it. The other thing I wanted was these potions. Remove blindness. Resist acid. Fire. Death ward. Let me see. Curse. Should have a hireling folder someplace in here. So usually these resist energy things, eventually I'll be able to use them. Right now I can't. Looking for the hireling folder. If not, I need to go get the hirelings individually. I might not have a hireling folder, but I think I do. Yeah, I don't see the hireling folder, so let's just go and pick up one hireling from Hall of Heroes, and that'll be good enough. Pick up the hireling and try to do the quest. Too bad you can't talk to some guy in Sharn and get all the stuff you get from Sharn. It's a shame. We're gonna get the level 14 healer hireling. Here's that feat we got last time. We can turn it on now. We got it permanently. It's not that great. Here's another feat we can turn on. Might as well have it on. Well, true. I'm just trying to... I'm like, I can't get all the bundle items. I have to make a new character so I can get if I want to get the bundle items. I mean, I just can swap characters and pass over the stuff if I want. Now let's do exactly that. Let's just check if I don't have one in the bank. In my shared bank. Nope, not in my shared bank. While I'm here, before I forget, let's buy the mysterious remnant. Let's augment this item. Drop it in here. Drag the augment. Yes. Close. Thank you. Put it back on. Let's go. Kind of running out of time, so I'm in a hurry now. Let's see how far we get. The goal is to beat the first dragon and hopefully do good damage on the second dragon. Okay, here we go. Why does it have to be raining?
The kobold village ahead is abuzz with motion. You'll have to face a great many kobolds.
Sorry, you can't see anything. Hopefully this weather ends soon. Yeah, I foresee a problem. I forgot to take any kind of a ranged weapon. I'm gonna get stunned when I try to break the crystals unless my hireling does it for me. Let's hope that will be the solution.
To block your path, the kobold magi draw power from a large crystal. They're using it to manifest a magical barrier in the valley ahead.
Tell my Harling to attack it. Hopefully it will. Okay, please attack it. Never mind, I'll do it. There we go. Finally.
The crackling power of more crystals. They seem quite unstable.
I really hope this weather effect goes away soon. I really don't want to have to do the whole thing in this kind of weather. Never mind this. I gotta go. I'm gonna run. Check out the auction house to see if somebody's selling a pair of adamantine knuckles. But I'm gonna do the flagging from Giant Hold anyway, so I need a flag for Reavers. Oh. Okay, this part might be tricky, but luckily they have preset already bows and arrows.
Fortifications are crude. There may be a way to strike at the crystal with an arrow or spell.
Okay, we got past that. Okay, so basically we've made it all the way to the barrier. Let's clear this out, then we're into the end fight.
The kobold's secret benefactor is revealed. The young dragon glares at you haughtily from behind its magical shield.
Oh no, they've scared me.
With the crystal shattered, the barrier deteriorates. A small breach appears. The dragon awaits you disdainfully on the other side.
Okay, here we go. First, I want to get rid of these casters because they're healing up. Caused me a lot of damage and trouble. Get rid of them first. A few of them are champions, a few of them are not. So, one first for the champions, then for all the rest. And they heal up really fast. Okay, let's kill the dragon. Yes. But the real test starts when we get to the next dragon.
Some of these chests are still warded.
Let's loot just in case.
Slew the dragon. Perhaps something else is sustaining the ward. The air suddenly tears open. A towering magical door materializes. Something very large and very powerful is coming.
Okay, here comes the big dragon.
An elder black dragon. It roars, casting its eyes for its progeny. When the
See if I can
dragon
stun it
realizes
once.
you've slain its monstrous offspring, its wrath shall know no bounds.
Never mind, my Heartling got it already. Come on. It's very important to actively block when you're on the floor. Take much less damage. You can also block when he's about to do his tail attack. This time I saved. Hit black right as he was doing it. Saved again. Man, I gotta make sure I keep up my shifting or rage up. That's how I heal. Harling's also healing me, but you'd be surprised, not that much. When it's just your Hireling healing you, you'll notice that pretty fast the Hireling runs out of spell points. Like, really fast. Trust me, I've tried this many times. Yeah, I need to get myself part of the family set, plus adamantine knuckles, and go to town.
Once in valor, the vile has fallen. Tales will spread
There we go.
Stormreach of how you
Yeah,
bested such
Harling just got all of his spell points spent. So, not the greatest, but solid. Fun fact, these chests can actually drop black dragon scales. Hey, what's up, Jack Dragon? Dragon on. Yeah, that's it. And now the weather's better. All better. Took only 11 minutes to get to the end fight and beat the first dragon. Well, and so, yes. It's going to be it for this stream. I've got to decide what I'm going to do. If I'm going to change cosmetics and stuff. Yeah, well, we got a lot of different things, a lot of different topics, subjects covered. What is DDO? Why DDO? How you should decide what you want to play. Yeah, I think we're on the right path. Got to work on it. Really liking this character. Looks really cool. So yeah. Anyway, thank you all for being my guests on my show, Ask Aldbar DDO Live. And I hope to see you all on my next show. So yeah, take care. Bye. Yes, I save all the streams. The streams that are on Twitch are not saved because I don't have a certain... there's only a certain amount I can have. 1 second. There's only a certain amount I'm allowed to save on Twitch, but I'm also streaming on YouTube, so every stream I have is also on YouTube. And if you're going to watch it as a VOD after, go to YouTube. I strongly recommend it. So every VOD I make is always on YouTube. They're based on date, and I also give them a name. So in the description, it will say the date when it was streamed, and the title will be changed to something else that more appropriate to what went on that VOD. So yeah. So this entire video, which I think had a lot of very, very good content, will all be preserved on YouTube, unlike on Twitch, where after a week or so it gets erased. I do make clips on Twitch, but almost nobody comes back to watch VODs on Twitch. So YouTube is a place to go. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Thank you all. It was a very good time. As always, I say, the stream is over, so I might hide my face, but I'm still here in the background as the outro is playing out, because I know sometimes people don't have enough time to like type goodbye or take care. So yeah. Thank you all.